Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates, and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We're like one subscriber away from 10,300, so someone, please, anyone. And if you could click a like on the video or stream as well, I would be massively grateful. It's good to see loads of you here already. There is a fair amount of Arsenal news to talk about tonight. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about last night's game. Premier League games tonight as well, so loads to get into. Junior Film, Sportcat, Pekka, Drax, Icarus, VV Vlad, Hyper Protagonist, Jakub. It's incredible how 2 days in a row you've both been in next to each other. Leeds Gunner, Francisco Oliveira, King Kai, Ethan Udall, Chris, Jack Sachs, Lukey, Carter, Saliba, Hannah, Ryan Henderson, Ultra Pro Gamer, and many, many more. It is good to see you all. How am I? How are you? But how am I? Look, it's... You know what? I predicted last night was going to end 5-0 to City. So, in that sense, like, I never thought that City were going to drop points. But then they came really close to dropping points. And that, I think, is more frustrating. Premier League clubs are going to vote on abolishing VAR. Yeah. That's just come out, actually, from David Ornstein. So, actually, Wolves submitted I can't remember what they call it, but basically they submitted a resolution, I think they call it, to scrap VAR. So on the 6th of June, it's the annual general meeting, the AGM, for the Premier League, and they will have a vote on scrapping VAR. It has to get 14 votes out of the 20 clubs to pass. I don't think it will pass. I just don't think VAR fundamentally is the problem. And I say this as someone who watches an obscene amount of sport and other sports. I'm a big fan of rugby, big fan of cricket, big fan of tennis, F1. All of these sports have some variation of VAR that functions far better than VAR in football. And some people will say, it's not the same. Football's not the same. Football is incredibly similar to rugby. Football is incredibly similar to rugby. And football decided, having looked at rugby and how rugby operates with their VAR, their version of VAR, theirs is called the TMO, they decided not to copy the majority of things that rugby has. And I think that's just dumb. I think it was arrogant. I think now that they've done it, they don't want to admit that they got it wrong to start with. And the fundamental issue is that it's a fairly poor system being operated by donkeys. And the idea of scrapping VAR, did you ever play rugby if you didn't want position? Yeah, I was a fullback. I was a fullback in rugby. The idea of scrapping VAR completely because the idiots controlling it aren't doing a very good job would be the equivalent of if you if you were the first person to invent the plane, and then you decided to let blind people be the first pilots of it, and they kept crashing. And then going, right, instead of teaching some pilots how to operate these planes, we'll just scrap planes altogether. Like, it's not the right way to do it. Other sports have got it right. And look, in other sports, there are still times where they get it wrong. I was at a rugby match the other day. Harlequins against Northampton Saints. And I thought TMO, I thought made a mistake. A lot of people in the crowd thought it made a mistake. But the point was, you could at least hear what the referee was saying to the TMO. You could understand why they made the decision that they made. And so, look, I just think scrapping VAR altogether isn't the solution. I don't think they will vote on scrapping VAR. If they did scrap VAR, week 1 next season, we would get some shocking decisions and everyone would be going, oh, my God, bring back VAR. So, yeah, I think the solution is to adjust VAR and to get better people operating it. For cricket, they actually have DRS, where you can hear the umpire actually going through the decision. Yeah, exactly. Which is the same as rugby. Cricket has DRS. Rugby has TMO. In both of those, you hear the referee talking directly to the VAR, the TMO, and also you can normally see what they're talking about on the screen, on the big screen. Why we don't have that, I don't know either. You know, rugby, the referee will literally, they don't have to run over to a monitor. They'll just look at the big screen that everyone else is looking at, and you'll hear them talking to the TMO, and they'll discuss it. It's helped massively with offsides. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Well, does that mean that they'd no longer have VAR for offsides? Because VAR for offsides pretty much does work. So would they scrap that as well? Like, yeah, it's not gonna pass. It's not gonna pass. We need people who are not involved in football and are analytical experts. VAR specialists. It's insane to me that we don't have VAR specialists. Train up 10 people to be VAR specialists, and the same 10 people do the job every single week. They will be consistent. They won't care about protecting their mates. Like, how we don't have that, I don't know. But there you go. So anyway, that's that bit of news out of the way. Surely watching big decisions on the large screen in a stadium could be troublesome. No, because rugby referees have testicles. They've got the balls to look at something on the screen, and even if all of the crowd are whistling and jeering or booing or whatever, they make the decision that they think is correct. That's and by the way, that is the reason that they don't do it in football. Specifically, the reason they don't do it in football is because they believe the referees' decisions would be influenced by the crowd. Well, how pathetic are those referees if they can't make their own decision with a bit of booing in the background? It's ridiculous. We need VAR like they have it in Germany. It's so quick there. Yeah, or even in the European games, And again, they can still make mistakes. I just don't think they'd make anywhere near as many mistakes as they do in the Premier League. Is Son actually getting investigated, or is that a rumor? That's a rumor. Son's not going to get investigated. Son won't get investigated. I mean, look, it was a good save. There's no way that you could orchestrate missing that. If he'd missed the goal by a mile, I get it. But, there's no way you could orchestrate making it look like that good of a save, because he's very close to not saving it, and then it would have gone in. The ref decisions are affected by City players screaming at them. Exactly. They are. I think one of the biggest issues is that their mates trying to protect each other. Huge issue is mates trying to protect each other, but also them trying to protect themselves. You've seen it multiple times where a referee on field a referee will be the on-field referee on a Saturday, and then there'll be the VAR on the Sunday. They'll make a mistake on the field on the Saturday, and then if they see the same sort of mistake be made on the Sunday, they won't correct it because they'll think that they look hypocritical. We've seen that happen. It shouldn't be the same people doing both jobs. The Gyökeres train might be dying a slow death. No, not for me. I am full steam ahead still on the Victor Gyökeres train. But that does segue me nicely into this news coming out this evening about Benjamin Sesko. It's coming from Sam Dean in The Telegraph. It's not a bad source. Arsenal have a strong interest in Benjamin Sesko and are considering a summer move for the Slovenian international. Understood, rival clubs now believe Arsenal are in pole position to sign the striker should they choose to formalise their interest. Now, that final bit for me is the most important bit. Okay, rival clubs believe that Arsenal are in pole position. I think if we go in for a player, we're in pole position to sign most of them. Unless we're going to go head-to-head with Man City or Real Madrid, at this point, I genuinely think we are in pole position for any signing if we want them, right? So the important part of that really is not the fact that rival clubs think we're in pole position. It is, should they choose to formalise their interest? Because that's the key thing. It's, yes, fine. We're interested in him. And if we went for him, we'd probably get him. But we have to formalise that interest. And we are definitely still interested in other strikers. So, look, Sesko's an interesting one, At 50 million, which was his original release clause, the form that he's been in fact, let's just whack him up. Why not? The form that Sesko's been in, right, has been really good. Now, most of the season, he was effectively behind the Pender in the pecking order, right? 20 years old, still incredibly young. Really has had quite a developed career at this point for someone his age. He's 6'5", and I saw, shout out to Ben Mattinson on Twitter again, but he said something that was interesting earlier, right? 64% of aerial duels won. And if you look at it, he doesn't score many headers. He doesn't use his aerial presence the way you might expect someone that was 6'5" to do it. And he said, Ben Mattinson said, when Benjamin Sesko realizes he's 6'5" and starts using that, he'll become unbelievable. In terms of, obviously, I like to come down to the greenery and have a gander at the greenery. Per 90 is better. Look, this area is decent. Of course, you'd expect that from a striker. That worries me. That's not the type. When I talk about Gyökeres and this area being so green, for me, this like, and the best is even if you now compare it to Kai Havertz, right? And we'll go and compare it to Kai Havertz in a second. This really worries me. Obviously, as always, I preface that by saying stats aren't everything. You have to use your eyes. You have to watch a player. But it does worry me. It does worry me. So, you look around here, doesn't have many touches at all. This is more of an Erling Haaland type, in a sense. 1.75 goals for 1 XG. Yeah. And I mean, look, recently he's been unbelievable. 45 minutes scored, 60 minutes scored, 70 minutes scored, 79 minutes scored, 76 minutes scored, 83 minutes scored. He's scored in each of his last 6 games. He is on good form. But, I look at that, and I'm looking at Gyökeres when I look at this, and these are big numbers. And I just think, maybe if that is the style of striker that we want to go for, then fair enough. If we do want to go for that guy who's not going to get many touches in the game, who's not going to link up play, and is just going to be there to put the ball in, then fair enough. But again, I'm not even convinced that Sesko is the best at being that guy. And again, he is only 20 years old. But now you're talking about, because of the form that he's been in, you're talking about a guy who might be costing upwards of 75 million euros. Because he's got this weird release clause that is performance-based. So the better his performance is, that release clause increases. And it's thought that could end up being 75 million euros. For me, again, I look at this and I think 75 million euros or spend a little bit more and go and get Victor Gyökeres. And I'm just still on the Gyökeres train. Look, let me go and compare it to Kai Havertz, right? Let me compare it to Kai Havertz. It'd be good if I could spell, wouldn't it? So this is Kai Havertz. Now, again, he's been compared to midfielders. That's the issue. Okay, this is going to be a bit skewed because he's getting compared to midfielders. But if we go per 90 here, that is all still very high. I mean, this is better. The issue is he's being compared to midfielders here, so this is a difficult comparison to make. But again, I mean, there's just generally speaking a lot more greenery involved. Especially assists and expected assists. I don't know. It's tricky because he's not being. But then if we go and look at Gyökeres, and this is obviously the guy that I want. We go and look at this. This is the difference. And again, right, if this isn't what we want, listen, I'm not Mikel Arteta. I back Mikel Arteta on what he wants. If this isn't what he wants, I don't understand it, but fair enough. But again, you then look down here and go per 90, and it's just so much more greener. There's just so much more greener. Chance creations through the roof. It's just a lot better. It is just a lot better. Touches that he takes. So, look, we'll see. We will see. But for me, I'm worried about how expensive he is. And look, he's raw. He is raw, okay? But 75 million euros is a lot of money for someone who's raw, hasn't played in the league, might improve, might get better. I mean, look, in terms of how often I've seen him play, I've seen him in a couple of games in the league, and then obviously I saw him against Real Madrid in the Champions League in both legs, and he was a bit wasteful. He was a bit wasteful, and I don't want another wasteful striker. In my opinion, if you bring in a striker that isn't clinical, you're not upgrading on Kai Havertz. everything about Kai Havertz's game at the moment is good enough, apart from getting the striker that scores the crucial clinical goals. If you're not getting that striker, are you improving on Kai Havertz? Some people want me to show Isak. Yeah, I can show Isak as well. Again, very low. Very low. And Isak is more of a... I mean, this is slightly better. His pass accuracy is better. Again, very few touches. The difference for me, though, is Newcastle's style of play. Newcastle's style of play is very much for Isak to do this, not to take many touches, be in the right position. I think he's like, just based on watching Isak play. And again, this is where it is crucial that you watch players play, because it could actually be the same for Sesko, and I've just not watched enough of them to know. But with Isak, I know for sure, on the ball, he is very good. His link-up play is very good. It's just not part of Newcastle's system to do it. So maybe Sesko is like that as well. You know, if I'm saying the only real times that I've properly watched him play was against Real Madrid, again, it may well be that their system is very different normally compared to the way that they're set up against Real Madrid. So, yeah, it's one to keep an eye on. It is one to keep an eye on, but what if Havertz is that dude and we can upgrade elsewhere? Kai being amazing since moving to the 9. Well, look, he might be. He might be. I still think, though, even if he is, we still need another striker. What if Kai Havertz gets injured for 9 months? I still think for the squad, we need another one anyway. And there will be times, because of Havertz's versatility, there will be times where maybe there are other injuries in the squad, and the solution is to bring the striker in and move Havertz into the injured position. So I do still think... I mean, look, the midfielder probably is the number one priority now, and we'll talk about that in a second. The midfielder probably is the priority, but I think Sesko is seen as more of a project player. The buy of Sesko probably means that Havertz is going to be trusted as the 9. Gyökeres means Havertz gets sidelined. Even now, I still think if Gyökeres came in, he wouldn't go straight into the starting lineup. I think whoever comes in, I think Osimhen, you know, we're not going to get Osimhen, but even if we did, I don't think they come straight into the team. Genuinely. I think Havertz, no matter who we sign this summer, I think Havertz starts next season up top. And whoever we sign is integrated a little bit more slowly. You know, I don't think the plan was ever to have Kai Havertz starting games in midfield this season. But because of injuries, we had to. And he wasn't given the time to integrate properly. I back Arteta completely, so I don't care who he brings in. Yeah, I kind of feel like that too. You know, I've got my opinions on players and stuff, but ultimately, I'm not going to question Mikel Arteta when it comes to signing players. I mean, I can't remember who tweeted it. It might have been Dan Critchlow, I think, tweeted it, maybe. Or maybe it was Tom from the Gooner Talk. But someone tweeted earlier, it was like, if you look back at our summer signings from last season, you've got Declan Rice, who's up there as player of the season in the Premier League. You've got Kai Havertz, who since moving to number 9 has pretty much been the highest output striker in the league. You've got David Raya, who's just won the Golden Glove by an absolute mile. And you had Jurrien Timber, who's been injured all season. But we think, based on what we saw, he would have been our starting left back. We absolutely smashed the transfer window last summer. And if we can do the same again... And by the way, people had their doubts. People doubted if Rice was worth 105 million. People massively doubted Kai Havertz. We know that. People doubted David Raya. Why has he done that? Is he an upgrade on Ramsdale? He got pretty much all of them right. The only one that we don't factually know he got right yet was Timber. But I feel like he did. And so if we can have another summer where we nail the signings again, happy days. Honestly, as much as I rate Gyökeres, he genuinely isn't for us. That's fair. That's fair. Listen, there's not room for everyone aboard the Gyökeres train, so some of you are going to have to disagree. More rumors about us going for Bruno G. Yeah, look, I think we will. I think we will. I think, you know, the one thing that I'm absolutely certain of is we're going to spend big money. The one thing I'm certain of is we're going to spend big money. If you look at the players that we're being linked to across the board, they are expensive players. I don't think there's going to be much of a kind of, I don't think there will be many more Fabio Vieira buys, or almost to an extent, even Yuri and Timber buys. Pardon me, but we'll see. We'll see. And the other one that I then wanted to talk about that we've been linked to today is Joao Neves, the young Portuguese midfielder from Benfica. This is from Graham Bailey with TBR Football. TBR Football understands that Arsenal have added 19-year-old Benfica midfielder Joao Neves to their list of midfield options and have intensified their scouting of him in the last 6 weeks. Now, a lot of people are excited about this kid. I see a lot of people from other clubs, fans of other clubs, Chelsea, United, City, that are excited about Joao Neves. We've spoken about him previously on here, to be fair. I'll bring him up again. 19 years old, has absolutely staked a claim in that midfield for Benfica. He is quite short. We've talked about this before. The more I read about him, the more I hear about him, the more I watch him, the less I care about how tall he is. Even though, look, I know really Arteta has moved to have a big, tall, strong team. He's strong. He's not tall, but he is physical. And you look at this, 99 percentile for touches, of course, in an Arsenal team, you're going to need that. Unbelievable defensive actions. Again, he might be short, but he gets himself around. And he wins 77. This is mad, right? This is mad. He's 20 centimeters shorter than Benjamin Sesko, and he wins more aerial duels. So, yeah, very interesting player. And obviously, you scroll down here, per 90, not quite as green. But, I mean, it's a lot of greenery. It is a lot of greenery. I like this. I like this a lot. Possession won in the final third, recoveries. This is the sort of thing that our midfielders do a lot of. Tackles won, 80% of tackles won, duels won. This is nice. This is nice. Then when it comes to possession, unbelievable amount of touches per game. Touches in the opposition box, fine. Not too bothered. He's 5'8". Yeah, 5'8". 90% pass accuracy. 90% pass accuracy. With an incredible... do you know how difficult it is to have a 90% pass accuracy whilst you're making that many passes in a game? 70 passes a game with an accuracy of 90%. Long ball accuracy, very good. Accurate long balls, very good. It's promising. He's a really promising player. So again, if we're interested in him, and this is a £100 million player, by the way. This is a £100 million player. So that's what I'm saying. If you're talking about us being interested in Bruno G, 100 million. Probably. Maybe Bruno G will be like 80 million. Hit the like button, please. Can we get to 150 by the end? Yeah, I don't know how many likes we're on. If we target 100, if we've already hit that, go for 150. But 100 would be sensational if you can just pause it, close the chat, click the like button, open the chat, good to go. He's going to cost a lot. Apparently, he has a similar release clause to Enzo. Yeah, he will cost a lot. He will cost a lot. Higher than 100. What is his release clause, though? I thought his release clause was about 100. Here, the press says 125 million euros. Okay, so in pounds, that's like, what, 110 million pounds? Yeah. 100 million, how? Welcome to the modern market, my friend. What about Amadou Onana as the 6? Then Rice plays as the 8. Onana provides aerial dominance in midfield and is rumoured Everton wants to sell him. Onana is an option, but I think he's on the B list. I think Onana is on the B list for me. I worry about why Everton want to sell him. I worry about why Sean Dyche doesn't like him. I think he's a great player. I don't think he massively raises the level. Do you think Rice stays as the 8 next season with Neves or Bruno at 6? Possibly. The great thing is, right, I genuinely think Arteta probably wants 2 midfielders that can almost act as the double pivot that we see in big games when we've seen Jorginho and Rice do it in big games. And they can interchange. Effectively, they can interchange. Neves is definitely someone that could do that. Neves could sit happily. Neves could sit whilst Declan Rice pushes. And we know how good Declan Rice is at engaging in that press. But equally, Neves himself can then carry the ball, ping the ball, spray the ball. If you're talking about replacing Thomas Partey, by the way, in terms of that pass accuracy, long ball accuracy, yeah, this could be the guy. This could definitely be the guy. There's 250 of you in here, by the way. Absolutely sensational. If you're not already subscribed, please do click that subscribe button. Do you really trust Onana on the ball at the Etihad or Anfield? I do not. I'm not sure, but not compared to someone like this. Not compared to someone like this. One thing I will show you is the lineup for Brighton versus Chelsea, which will have come out. So the lineup for Brighton versus Chelsea, they've got Petrovic in goal, Gusto, Chalobah, Badiashile, Cucurella, Gallagher, Caicedo, Madueke, Palmer, Mudryk, and Jackson. I think they will win. Verbruggen, Lamptey, Webster, Duncan, Igor, Gross and Gilmore, Buonanotte, Enciso, Adingra, and João Pedro. That's actually going to be a very good game. That's going to be a very good game. Those two sides on paper are going to make for a good game. I've got a good feeling about that. Højlund on the bench tonight. Interesting. Sad Spurs fans think they stopped us from winning the league, but Villa did that. Just another thing Villa beat Spurs to this season. Yeah, look, Spurs didn't stop us winning the league. We stopped ourselves winning the league. They just lost a game to Man City that we all knew that they would lose. Are we favourites to get Neves? And can we get Gyökeres and Neves without breaking FFP? We could definitely get Neves and Gyökeres without breaking FFP. It would limit us in terms of any more signings on top of that. Ultimately, FFP this summer it's all going to come down to how many players we sell and how much money we get for those. I think we will spend a lot of money this summer, though. I really do. Jesus playing at striker stopped us from winning the league. I wouldn't necessarily put it all on that. When does the new home kit come out? Tomorrow. Tomorrow, the new home kit is launched. You'll be able to buy it. I'm going to buy... Oh, by the way, got a ticket for the Everton game. Oh, yeah. On the ticket exchange as well. I didn't even have to rely on someone to help me out. On the ticket exchange, grinding it this afternoon, got a ticket for the Everton game. But yeah, and hopefully I'll have the new home shirt in time for it. I think I did last season. I feel like I went to the final home game last season wearing it. Although, we won't be wearing the new home kit this Sunday because there is a possibility that we win the league. Because we can still win the league, we have to wear this season's home kit in the game. So... yeah, they won't have it on show. They won't have the new home kit on show this weekend, but I might. The streak continues. It does indeed. That's back-to-back seasons of going to every single home game. So, happy days. Favorite for Sesko? Funny. Yeah, I mean, mate, that's just the news report. That's the news report. I'm just repeating that information, buddy. Dovbyk from Girona, 40 million euro release clause. Thoughts? I don't know. I get the fact that City most likely have 1.5 hands on the league now. The jubilation and celebrations amongst the Arsenal haters I consider so disrespectful to West Ham. Yeah, I mean, I've even seen Man City fans getting really confident about it, basically acting as if they have literally won the league, which is kind of crazy. Because look, you never know. You never know what could happen. West Ham came to the Emirates and beat us. No one saw it coming. Freak game. They beat us. It can happen. Look, I don't think it will. I absolutely don't think it will. But I'm very glad that I've got a ticket to be there. Because for one, I really didn't think I was going to be able to get a ticket. And if I hadn't, I'd have been very sad at the fact that I wasn't there to kind of, applaud and celebrate the players for the season that they've had. Because I think regardless of whether we win the league, it's been a brilliant season and they deserve that. And also, look, the miracle could happen. And this is the first time in my lifetime that I'll have been at a game where you could win the title on the final day. I've never had that experience in my life of being at a game where you can win the league on the final day. I've had it with Hereford, where we were avoiding relegation on the final day, and it was absolute limbs. It was unbelievable limbs. In fact, The last time, in fact, the last time I was at a game like that, Jarrod Bowen scored to keep Hereford up. Jarrod Bowen was the hero the last time I was at a game like that. It's all coming together. It's all coming together. We survived on the final day. It's all coming together. Annoying how many teams write off their 2 matches against City and how they only have 1 set of derbies with no historical basis, while we have 5 opponents out to get us in a way no one is for City. I agree. It's happening. It's happening. It's a sign. No, I mean, it would be unbelievable if Jarrod Bowen could score a hat-trick or something, but Man City are on Sky and Arsenal's on TNT. Let's face it, Sky will never allow the trophy lift to be on TNT. Yeah, I mean, you raise a point. You do raise a point. Did you know that Bowen would go on to do what he has done in his career? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But he's done it. He's done incredibly. He's done incredibly. Because really, to have been 18, I'm pretty sure he was 18. To have been 18 and still at a non-league side, which he was, to end up making it to the Premier League after that is a fair effort. Like, most people that make it to the Premier League won't be a non-league player by the time they're 18. So he did well. Thoughts on Ange's comments post-match? I'm kind of like, I get where he's coming from, but I don't understand why Ange is so angry about last night compared to like the Arsenal game or the Chelsea game or the Newcastle game or the Fulham game or the West Ham game, where they dropped points in those games and that was really what cost them. Like, I can kind of understand why Spurs fans are a bit annoyed at him because he has mugged them off. He has royally mugged the Spurs fans off for pretty much all week, by the way, even before the game, talking about how they've got no trophies. So he's been mugging them off all week. And I kind of get what Spurs fans are saying of like, there is a rivalry there that he's not really understood. And also, I swear, all season he kept saying, and this is where I think Ange Postecoglou is a soundbite merchant. Ange Postecoglou loves saying something for the soundbite, and then he goes back on it. He did it with VAR earlier in the season, right? And he did it when he was being asked about top 4, and he kept saying, nah, I don't care about top 4, mate. We don't care about that. And then they've bottled top 4, and suddenly he's angry about it. But he kept saying that he didn't care about top 4. The Man United versus Newcastle team news is out. What the hell? What the hell? Okay, Onana, Wan-Bissaka, Casemiro, Johnny Evans, Dalot, Amrabat, Mainu, McTominay, Ahmad Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes. So it's basically the same team that played against Arsenal, but with Bruno Fernandes up top instead of Rasmus. Okie dokie. Martinez is on the bench, as is Eriksen, Rashford, and Højlund. For Newcastle, they've got Dubravka, Trippier, Kraft, Burn and Hall, Longstaff, Gomaresh, and Anderson, Murphy, Isak, and Anthony Gordon. So, yeah, interesting game. Interesting game. I think that midfield works for them, by the way. I genuinely think we struggled against that midfield. So it'll be interesting. And Bruno Fernandes will probably drop deeper. You know, I could see these two interchanging. I could see at points these two interchanging and Scotty McTominay becoming the striker. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. It will be interesting to... I wouldn't be surprised if Man United win tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester United win tonight. Old Trafford is falling down. Ten Hag is a fucking clown. Amrabat played so well against us. Yeah, well, I just think it suited him. I think that midfield suited him. Rory, could you imagine Arsenal buying Joao Neves for like 110 million, a backup winger for around 55 million, Joel Hato for 40 million, and a backup keeper for 15? Yeah, easily. That would still only be what, 220 million? 220 million. Yeah, easily. I could see us spending 250, to be honest. I could see us spending 250. McTominay and Fernandes trying to do a Havertz Ødegaard front two. Yeah, kind of. It'll be interesting. It will be interesting. I do think, yeah, exactly like MM just said, I do think if you put Fernandes up in this area, he's just more impactful on the game. He is a final third player. He is a player that will make things happen in the final third. So almost forcing him to stay further forward, I don't think is a bad thing for them. Rory, thoughts about the title race? What do you think West Ham can do to City? Nothing. I can't see West Ham doing anything, but it'll be what it'll be. You lot being linked to Neves? Yeah, we were linked to him today by a guy called Graham Bailey. TBR Football understands Arsenal have added 19-year-old Benfica midfielder Joao Neves to their list of midfield options and have intensified their scouting of him in the last 6 weeks. So time will tell. How much are we making in sales? Minimum 100, I would say. If you look at who's going out the door, probably lots of them are going to be English homegrown, which immediately puts a bumper on them. I think we comfortably clear £1 million in sales. And I'm 90% sure we've got at least 150 million to play with anyway. So that puts us at 250 straight away. We're 1 like away from 100 likes. Come on. Someone hasn't liked the video that can like it now and get us to 100. So that is sensational. What's the demand for new kits normally? If I don't get it tomorrow, how long would I likely have to wait? Normally it's fine. Normally you can get it over the summer, no problem. The time where it normally becomes hard to get it is at the start of the new season. People get to the start of the new season. They know they're going to go to games and stuff, and they're like, oh, I need to get a shirt. So, yeah, you've got the whole of summer, I would say, normally, to get the shirt. Hatto will count as homegrown if he comes in. He will, yeah. He will. The home kit is announced. The home kit launches tomorrow, I believe. 270 viewers. Yeah, the viewers have been absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. If Neves comes in, does that mean Lokonga and Vieira are on their way out? Not necessarily Vieira, I wouldn't have thought. I do think Lokonga's going to go. I think Partey's going to go. El Neni's going. Jorginho's only got 1 year on his contract, on his new contract. Charlie Patino's going. So we're going to be pretty light in the midfield anyway. So I think Fabio Vieira. Look, I still think one of Fabio Vieira and Smith Rowe goes. I still think they just occupy the same space on the bench, and they won't be able to next season. But we'll see. Opinions on the new kits? I'll have to wait till I see them in person or on people. But I think they're all right. I don't think they're too bad. I think we need 2 centre mids, possibly. You've got to remember, though, you've got someone like Ethan Nwaneri, who apparently really is going to get given more opportunities next season. So that maybe takes one of those. I think Lokonga will go to Leicester. Don't know why. Yeah, I could very much see Lokonga getting sold to a promoted team. I could definitely see it. Definitely see it. Can we offer money to West Ham to win, or is that bribery? Well, so you... It's funny you say that, right? West Ham will generate 5 million quid if they win. If we win as well. If we win the Premier League, West Ham get 5 million quid from the Declan Rice deal. So it genuinely is worth 5 million quid to West Ham to help us out. Call that, I mean, it's not bribery. It's just the way it is. But everybody in the chat, come tune into the gaming streams. Yeah, good point. Gaming streams, I do them every night now. We just become affiliate on Twitch. I am now a Twitch affiliate. That came through today. So tonight's stream will be the first stream as a Twitch affiliate. We do gaming streams. At the moment, I'm doing a walkthrough of The Last of Us. Never played it before. It's quite entertaining watching me stumble and mumble my way through it. The link to my Twitch is down in the description. So if you want to come and join those streams, that would be awesome. I do appreciate everyone that's been joining them so far. I'm really genuinely enjoying it. Do you like the rumor of Smith Rowe and Eddie to Ipswich for 60 million? Yeah, for 60 million, I do. What does Twitch affiliate do? It basically just means that like people can subscribe. Basically, just means I can make money off it. Is the truth. But no, it means that I can have my own custom emotes and stuff in chat. It opens up a lot of things. Yeah, you can sub with Twitch Prime, so you can basically sub to me, which means I get money, but it costs you nothing. If you've got Amazon Prime, you can basically sub to me for free, and I get money for it, which is great. No deaths tonight. Yeah, no deaths tonight. Get on Skyrim. I do love Skyrim, to be fair. Maybe at some point, but I'll be honest, the list of games is piling up that people want me to play, so it's going to take a while. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. We are starting now. This player came through the academy at AC Milan. This player came through the academy at AC Milan. Clue number 2, they moved from Arsenal to Barcelona. They moved from Arsenal to Barcelona. Clue number 3, they captained Arsenal. Clue number 3, they captained Arsenal. Clue number 4, they scored 92 goals in 163 games. They scored 92 goals in 163 games. And clue number 5, they were the African Footballer of the Year in 2015. They were the African Footballer of the Year in 2015. People started getting that quickly. Fair play. I really thought that the AC Milan Academy thing was going to throw a few people off, but it seems like it didn't. It seems like it didn't. But the first person to get it correct was Leo Nesbitt. Leo, congratulations. Leo was first. Ethan Udall was second. Francisco Oliveira was third. Drakkar was fourth. And Guna in my heart was fifth. So there you go. Absolutely sensational from Leo Nesbitt, who got it very early. I got it after the first clue and still lost. That's painful. That is painful, Francisco. VAR is happy. VAR is happy. Yeah, I really... That was a guess before the first clue. Oh, well, there you go. Another guess before the first clue. Unbelievable. I really thought that the AC Milan Academy was going to throw people off because I didn't know. Maybe that's just, arrogance on my part, thinking that because I don't know it, you won't know it. But Gunnar in my heart, that's his first ever top 5 placement. The road to your first ever win is on. Did not know Alba came through Milan's academy. Yeah. Yeah. The more you know. The more you know. If it looks to you like you were fifth if it looks to you like you were fifth or fourth or something, on my screen, it all comes through at the speed that your internet puts it through. On your screen, it comes up instantly for you, but you have to wait for other people's to send those through the internet. So, yeah, you're probably 6th, 7th, or 8th, if I didn't say you were in the top 5. Will we scrap VAR and guess the Gooner if they scrap it in the Prem? Yeah. Yeah, we follow IFAB rulings or the Premier League rulings. So we will have to scrap it. Twitch live tonight. I haven't been able to join a lot because of exam season. Yes, we are live on Twitch. It will be about 10:15, 10:30, because obviously I'll have to make content about the 2 Premier League games for TikTok. But then, yeah, we'll be live. Definitely be live by 10:30. So, again, the link to that is in the description below. Anyway, time for Guess the Non-Gooner. I'm going to give you the entire career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal. You have to guess who that player is. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community, but not as much respect as Leo Nesbitt currently has. This player started their career at the Man City Academy. They started their career at the Man City Academy. They went on loan to Barnsley FC. They went on loan to Barnsley FC. They went on loan to Burnley. They then moved permanently to Burnley. They then moved to Tottenham. They then moved to Atletico Madrid. They then moved to Newcastle United. There you go. City, Academy, Barnsley on loan, Burnley on loan, Burnley permanently, Tottenham, Atletico Madrid, Newcastle United. Yeah, lots of you going for the likes of Palmer, Frimpong, Sancho. I'm just going to make sure that there is no VAR. And the winner is HPG Gunner. HPG Gunner, congratulations. Congratulations. It is indeed Kieran Trippier. So HPG Gunner was first. Who was second? Who was second? Second was Drakkar was second. MM was third. Leeds Gunner was fourth. And Nick Alt was fifth. So there you go. Congratulations. Congratulations to HPG Gunner. Pretty sure there's no VAR check there. First win off, first one. There you go. Smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. Feels like you've done Trippier recently. Anyone else feeling that? Have I done Trippier recently? Did I do Trippier a week ago? Did I do Trippier a week ago? I literally did it last week. My bad. My bad. Well, look, how many of you clearly didn't pay attention? How many of you clearly didn't pay attention to Trippier last week? That is my bad, though. Do you know what? It's because I've got a document that has all of the normal Guess the Gooners in, because I write all of the clues down. So then I can do the like Control F thing, so I can search for names to see if I've already done them. But I don't have that for Guess the Non-Gooner. So I apologize. Heung-min Son will be Heung-min gone if I catch him lacking. You want a new one? You want a new one? Fine. You can have a new one. You can have a new one. Let me just think. Let me just think for a second. Let me just think for a second. Let me just think for a second. No, I feel like I've done him before as well. I get lost on who I've done. See, you're all guessing. The problem is, no, I'm not doing another one. Because there's so many of you guessing now. There's so many of you guessing random names now. It's going to be impossible to VAR check it. So we're not doing another one. HPG Gunner. He won it, fair and square. I'm not going to take away from HPG Gunner's evening either. He won it fair and square. I'm going to leave it at that. But look, that is going to be the end of the stream. I do massively appreciate all of you for joining. As always, like I said, I'll be live on Twitch later this evening. If not, I will be back here live at 6:30 as normal tomorrow. Have a fantastic evening. Enjoy the 2 Premier League games this evening, and I will catch you tomorrow. Goodbye.